Hi everyone, Hiru here, and welcome to today's business tip. So, today I thought I'd mix it up a bit and do a quick live rather than post or do a blog. So, today's business tip is about having a successful conversation in business and how you go about doing that, whether it's with your clients, with your prospects, with your colleagues. The same tips will apply. Now, although I'm taking this line very much about business, it would equally be appropriate for successful conversations in your personal life or indeed in any social setting. So many of us are guilty of starting a conversation by either asking a question or putting a thought out there. But instead of giving the person we're talking to and the recipient an opportunity to answer, we often will find ourselves rephrasing the question or clarifying it, or worse still, even trying to answer it ourselves. In other words, we don't stop talking and don't give ourselves a chance to listen or for the other person to respond. And the second reason is that even when we do stop and wait for a response, what generally tends to happen is that we have actually stopped listening. We're not hearing because we are starting to formulate. We're busy formulating that response in our own minds of what we assume we will want to say or we will want to be heard to be saying. So today's tip is all about listening to understand, not just listening to reply. So listening to understand with intent rather than listening to just reply. Now, I'm sure you're going to say, well, I wouldn't argue with that, but how do you do that successfully? Well, as a business leader, I have narrowed these issues down to 5 key points over the years that have helped myself, my colleagues, and indeed my clients. And the first one of those is to pay close attention. And by that I mean by giving close attention to the person who's speaking, by giving them your undivided attention. But, you can do that by helping them to realise that you are doing just that you are giving them your undivided attention and that you are truly listening. For example, you could be looking them straight in the eye as they're talking to you, because that will show that you are really paying attention and that you are not interrupting in any shape or form whilst you are listening. Secondly, you could demonstrate that you are doing just that by the sort of verbal and non-verbal signals. So you might be nodding to show that you understand. You also want to spend a bit of time thinking about your body language when you are listening, because just nodding is not going to be enough. Often we appear very closed rather than open and relaxed in our behavior when we're listening. So for instance, if you're sitting or standing with your arms folded, or you might be frowning because you have not understood or you don't agree with what's being said, that is not going to help the active listening process, and that may throw off the person speaking as well. And just on that note, the third point builds on that, because it's all about checking your understanding. When we listen, we are often listening, but our listening is based on our biases and our personal experiences and our perceptions and our feelings. And all that can influence how and what we hear and what we listen to. So it's possible for the message to get really mistranslated and misinterpreted in that process. So a very good tip is to ask questions as you go along to ensure that you are hearing, but of course at the right juncture. So things like, can you tell me more about? Or what did you mean when you said X? Would be very useful. If you are going to use this technique, although it might seem appropriate to wait right to the end, if the question is very loaded, you might want to ask questions throughout, because waiting until the end may impact on you remembering exactly what was said. The fourth tip is that whilst you want to clarify, you do not want to be interrupting. When you interrupt, you are not only frustrating the speaker, but you are limiting your opportunity to hear and understand. So you might be thinking, well, actually you just said question and now you're saying don't interrupt. The two are very different. You want to wait for natural pauses to be able to question, not just keep interrupting and stopping the flow of the speaker. And finally, it's about how you respond when you are ready to respond. When you've been actively listening and gaining that information, you are formulating hopefully a more robust response that you'll have clarified as you've gone along. But when you are responding, it's really important that you are honest and open in your response, but also very respectful and thorough. Much of what I've covered in those tips is very much rooted in emotional intelligence. Those of you who know me will know that I am a practitioner and an accredited practitioner of emotional intelligence over many years. I have used these techniques, as I say, in my business coaching, as a business leader, over many years. And in particular, what I have referred to are practices of self-awareness, very, very important in any communications, as well as awareness of others around you, not just when you're listening, but picking up on the cues, picking up on their physical appearances. You know, do they look confused? Are they anxious, etc.? All of this will help you in those successful communications. So I hope you found today's business tip helpful. Do let me know if you already practice some of this and whether you have success within it. Are there other things that you do to help you with your successful communications in business? I look forward to hearing those from you. Okay, comment below in any of the portals that we're going to be listing this in, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.